Welcome back to Wamego. Today we will be discussing social capital and how citizen involvement can play a large part in the success of a community. Social capital has many different factors to it, but generally looks at the interactions of different groups, the structure of a community's social organization, the level of trust in a community, and the different types of relationships. The level of social capital in a community largely determines how much your citizens are going to get involved and take part in this collectively owned capital. Fortunately for Wamego, the level of social capital is quite high. The individuals who live in this community care about its success and want it to thrive. One example of this dedication is when a group of individuals came together to revitalize the Columbian Theater, located behind me here, which is now a central piece for this community. Wanting to make sure this small town was not overtaken by big box stores, this group's efforts have helped the community's success. Clint Stevie, Executive Director of the Columbian Theater, describes how the community got involved in this process and what their efforts looked like.
In 1984, a group of concerned citizens they're worried about the impact of big box stores and large businesses pushing out mom and pop businesses and having a detrimental impact on main streets and small communities. So they wanted to do something that would revitalize the downtown area. They were looking for a flagship of that effort. They identified the Columbian Theater as that potential flagship. So they were very actively meeting in the new Friendship House restaurant and at that time, and then they, by 1989, bought the building from the original family that still owned it, and by 1994 they'd completed a $2.2 million renovation. 1.6 of that was raised from local families and businesses. The rest of it was through grants and other means. And then we grand opening in 1994.
In addition to the care individuals have for this community, people are constantly looking for ways to get involved and help. From children to the elderly to business individuals and more, Wamego's level of interaction is unique. Clint touches on this uniqueness in his description of the Columbian Theater's volunteers.
For the variety of volunteers that we have, I would say it's pretty extensive. We have high school kids and college kids who like to help out with our Summer Theater Academy and our Winter Theater Academy. We have even younger children who help out with other programs, assist in numerous ways, including being, showcasing the talent for concerts and productions. And then we have younger people to 20s to the 30s who are helping out with programming aspects, committees, as well as sometimes just providing us insight on what we need to be doing. That happens quite frequently and is very helpful. We have volunteers all the way up. We have a volunteer who is 97 years old. So, I feel like we have volunteers spanning from age 6 to 96, and they help us in all capacities, because honestly, without our volunteer base and community support, we would cease to exist. We're only able to operate through their assistance and involvement.
Another organization that heavily relies on volunteers for their program's success is the Wamego Chamber of Commerce. Wamego is known for hosting large festivals, from the Tulip Festival in the spring to Oztoberfest in the fall, that attract thousands of people. Darren Solden, the Executive Director of Wamego's Chamber of Commerce, talks about the diverse group of individuals that come out to help volunteer with these events and other programs the Chamber puts on.
So the people that we have come help and volunteer for festivals, chamber activities, other community events really is a relatively diverse group for Wamego. In and of itself, Wamego, you look at the demo and sociographics, is not necessarily the most diverse community that you're going to find, but some of that is community size, some is geography. That piece is what it is. But within the existing demographic, we catch everything from retired business owners that have been involved for decades to it's always fun. You get a lot of folks that end up in Wamego because they've retired to this part of the country, whether that's connections to K-State, kids in school at K-State, kids, grandkids that live in the area, or simply that they see this area as someplace that they maybe were stationed in the military at Fort Riley and chose to stay. We have a good number of those type of folks that one of the first things they do when they get into the community, get into the area, is look for opportunities to volunteer and get involved. And so that's an interesting component of our volunteer base that maybe I didn't expect, but that we actually have quite a few of. And then we've got some great programs to engage youth. We've got what we call a peer chamber organization. It's actually a club for juniors and seniors at the high school, and we have over 70 members this upcoming year in that. This last year we logged almost 500 volunteer hours from those students, again, ranging everything from they helped redo a new disc golf course in town. They volunteer at different chamber events. They volunteer at some of the big festivals that we host. And so, that group of folks, we're really trying to get them involved in their community, understanding that a lot of them will leave, will go away, but many of them hopefully will get involved, volunteer, engage with their community wherever they end up, or if they end up back in Wamego someday, they'll see the value in being the next generation.
The help the Wamego citizens provide these two organizations and so many others allow this community to thrive. Through the care, passion, and mutual interests Wamego citizens have for their community, the level of social capital is extraordinary. To wrap up this discussion, Darren describes what he believes is Wamego's level of social capital and provides one more example of how it contributes to Wamego's success.
I'd say the level of social capital in Wamego is incredibly high. In all honesty, I have peers in other communities around Kansas and even beyond that I work with or know through professional organizations that always say they have some professional jealousy over Wamego, because Wamego traditionally is known for having an incredible level of volunteerism, an incredible level of local investment by businesses, even as we've seen some what we would term Wamego businesses grow more regionally, open locations in Manhattan, and even grow out beyond the immediate 2 or 3 county region. Those businesses still, for the most part, make incredible investments financially, people-wise within the local community. So we're very fortunate in that regard. But I think the big thing that we always refer to, and again, folks in other communities even refer to, as kind of a Wamego magic, and that is driven off of volunteers. And 4th of July is a perfect example. And we do an incredible 4th of July fireworks show, completely volunteer produced, volunteer paid for. We've got people that have certification, spent a significant amount of resources, hours, money, dedication over the years to be highly certified in being able to put together and shoot off fireworks, of all things. And so what that allows us to do then is to build an event in a town of 5,000 people where we have 40 or 50,000 folks coming to town for a day, and we've got great tradition that goes along with that. 146 years this year of a 4th of July parade. We've got other activities. We've got churches and community organizations that get involved. We've got a car show named after Walter P. Chrysler, who was a native of Wamego. But at the end of the day, what drives all that is the fact that we have a core group of 30 to 40 volunteers that push, drive, and make the whole fireworks piece happen.
Wamego is a community full of life. From the children that volunteer at the theater to grown adults who help, this town knows how to come together to form relationships and make their community the best it can be. Thanks again for watching Welcome to Wamego. We'll see you next time.